Hey, just an opinion here with my first look at one of Smith & Wesson's newest offerings, the M&P Metal Carry Comp. One of the many new guns recently introduced by Smith, the Carry Comp is essentially an M&P 2.0 on steroids. I want to thank the folks at Smith & Wesson for sending out this M&P 2.0 Carry Comp so I could review it. The one you see in this review is the Performance Center version. The frame is T6 aluminum with a stainless steel slide. The name Carry Comp comes from the ported barrel, or compensated, shortened to comp. Smith & Wesson calls it the power port, and the idea is that it reduces the felt recoil for the shooter. In addition to the ported barrel, Smith has completely reimagined its trademark fish scale design on the slide serrations. This new Carry Comp has a fresh and aggressive look. But the new slide design is more than just a cosmetic refresh. The cuts are deep with well-defined grooves, which provide superior traction for your hands, no matter where you grab it. The contours of the cuts work in 3 dimensions, both to the touch and to the eye. Call me a big fan of this new design. But the practical aspect goes even further with protruding ears at the very back of the slide. For those who like to use the thumb and forefinger pinch method of slide handling, you're going to love this. It's like having handles. Roll that slide over and look straight down on it, and you'll see that the aggressive cuts don't stop at the squared corners. Nicely aesthetic chevrons have been cut into the frame and a large lightning cut in the slide just forward of the ejection port. Moving forward a bit, we see the front sight, which I'll talk about a lot more, and then the power port relief cut in the slide through which we can see the cut in the barrel. If you're thinking that my head can be turned by a pretty face, you're right, and I freely admit that I love the look of this new Carry Comp. But the beauty definitely goes beyond skin deep with this pistol. For starters, notice the gas escape port is located in front of the front sight, not behind it as many do. This keeps the gases and escaping carbon from fouling the front sight, making it harder to see. It's also nice to not have to clean it. And if you think you're sacrificing with a shorter sight radius, that little bit is insignificant. Starting out with the new M&P Carry Comp in metal from the Performance Center. So this one has all of the bells and all of the whistles. It is one fine looking handgun. I haven't shot it yet, so let's find out how it does in that area. Going down range to my TA target. Well, can't do much better than that, can you? Okay. God, I love the sights. Love the sights that they put on this gun. Absolutely fantastic. So this new gun is ported, and the purpose for porting is to reduce recoil, to reduce muzzle lift more specifically. To find out how successful it is at that, I've got here the M&P 2.0 in metal. So same. Color's a little different, but the barrel is the same length. Everything else is the same, except it doesn't have the port. So let's see. I'm going to shoot 15 rounds through this gun and then immediately follow that up with 15 rounds through the ported gun, the new one, and see if I can perceive a difference. And then we'll go from there. I guess I lied on that one. That was only 10. This will be 15. This is the ported gun.
I can tell the difference. It's somewhat subtle, but there definitely is a difference. And I think, as I've found with ported guns in general, the faster you shoot, the more you see the difference. So let's find out if the porting helps me hit the targets better. And I love that I can release the slide with the slide stop slide release. That's not something M&Ps have always been good at doing when they're brand new. Man, I love these sights. These sights are incredible. I just haven't figured out if it's like a 6 o'clock hold or a combat hold. So we'll try and figure that out now. It looks like a tight 6 o'clock. I don't know, maybe combat. Yeah, I'm thinking combat now that I really assess it better. Pretty much where that, if you line your sights up properly, the center of that front sight is where it's going to strike. Nice. It seems very true, very well sighted from the factory, and man, those sights are nice. They just really pop.
So let's take a look at the specs of this gun. It is a full-size 9mm pistol that accepts 17-round magazines, and you get 2 of those with the gun. It weighs just 28.1 ounces despite the metal construction. It's 1.4 inches wide at the widest part, and it's 5.5 inches high. The overall length is 7¼ inches. 4.22 inches of that is the barrel length. The barrel and slide are stainless steel, and the gun is finished in armornite. It comes with 4 interchangeable palm swell grip inserts so that you can custom fit it for your hand. Those inserts have extremely good texture. The sights are blackout and serrated rear sight with a high visibility front night sight, and they are very nice.
Okay, now for the sciencey part of our show. I'm going to use the Mantis X10 device, which you see here mounted on the Picatinny rail just under the muzzle, to measure several things involved with the recoil. It's going to measure muzzle lift, it's going to measure how long it takes for the muzzle to get back down on target. That's called, what is that called? Recovery time, yes. Recovery time. It's going to even measure the geometry to see how well a job I'm doing holding the gun, you know, and also sometimes that can help you with seeing whether certain ammunition is torquing a certain way or the rifling is causing it to torque a certain way. Anyway, all those fun numbers will help us to see whether the new port on the new M&P Performance Center is really making that much of a difference with standard ammo. So this is just regular garden variety federal 115 grain ball ammo. Okay, so first up, the M&P 2.0 metal, which is a pretty new gun, but it's not ported. So this is the unported version. 10 rounds. Oh, wait. Almost wasted 10 rounds. Let me push start on the app. Okay, starting now. Such a nice sound, that ringing steel, isn't it? Okay, now move the device over, just simple to do, onto the new ported M&P metal. This is the carry comp, they call it. 10 rounds through it. And I have the Mantis mounted in the exact same place. First notch, so it's furthest forward. Okay, I can feel a little bit of a difference, not a great deal of difference. So I didn't even really look at the numbers from the first one, and I'm not going to bother looking too much at this one. We'll talk about those more after I take a closer look at the numbers, and we'll compare them.
The M&P 2.0 is also optics ready, and the gun comes with an assortment of polymer adapters to fit just about any footprint. I do like steel adapter plates better typically, but these polymer plates do get the job done, and they are included with the gun. I was able to first see this gun and shoot it while I was a guest of Smith & Wesson over the summer in their beautiful new Marysville, Tennessee headquarters. One of the new features they pointed out was what they call the clear sight cut. They've reconfigured the optics cut in the slide so that it diverts gases forward and away from the lens of your optic to keep it from fouling so quickly. I like to do my first review work with open sights, so I haven't put an optic on this yet. But when I do a follow-up, I will put an optic on the pistol, and I'll talk more about how that seems to work.
All right, I'm just going to shoot a couple mags and take my time, feel the gun, feel the trigger. I've already gushed about the sights. I'll try not to do that much more, but yeah, boy, they're awesome. So we'll do all that, and I'll just get my feel for how I like shooting this gun at the range and how well I think that I'm shooting it. Aesthetically, look, I'm going to be honest with you, aesthetics count for me. They may or may not for you, but you know, they don't replace function, but they do count. And boy, the points for aesthetics here are just like through the roof. I think Smith & Wesson gets a 12 out of 10 for the way they have designed the look of this new version of the M&P 2.0, this carry comp. Incredible. One of the other super nice things is with the last version of the 2.0, they started to, with their fish scale slide cuts, they started to give a little bit of pronunciation to that last cut so that it stuck out a little further at the back of the slide. Well, they've taken that to a whole nother level here. Now it sticks out a lot further, and you definitely have something to grab onto right there. So nice practical improvement. All right, around the array. This is a gun I shoot well. I'm like, my misses are in the low numbers, low percentage. Man, this is a gun that I am shooting very well, so needless to say, I like it. All right, so the trigger is really nice. It's got a really crisp break. It's probably 4.5, 5 pounds, but man, it feels so nice. Nice short reset, very tactile. Not feeling over travel. When it resets, you're right back at the wall, which is great. The polymer texturing on the front strap and on the back strap is really nice. So it gives you really good grip. Wow, I'm just swinging those plates all over the place. This M&P is an accurate shooter and makes me look like an accurate shooter, and that's saying something. All right, I'm going to test how well I can shoot this gun a little more carefully with shooting at a paper target. That target, that orange dot that you see, is 13 yards downrange. That's my textbook distance. for whatever reason. The ammo I'm shooting is by request. So a good friend of mine, Dale Annis of Annis Arms, which someday in the not too distant future, you'll hear a lot more about Annis Arms. But anyway, my buddy Dale asked me specifically if I would shoot this ammo because he was curious about an issue that somebody was having. So I am shooting 10 rounds of Ammo Incorporated 115 grain jacketed hollow point. I typically really love Ammo Incorporated, but I don't think I've ever shot their hollow points, so this would be a treat for me as well. Okay, I don't know what happened with that one. That's crazy. But yeah, they're all right there where I would like them to be. That's for me, offhand, that's a nice group at 13 yards, with the exception of that one crazy flyer. Keeping it real. That's what I'm doing. Keeping it real.
To provide grip to the front strap of the metal frame, Smith inserts a section of textured polymer that matches the palm swell insert. This is an area where I think there's room for improvement. While the texture is fantastic, the panel has too much play, and you can feel it wiggle while you handle the gun. I doubt that it really is going to affect your shooting, certainly not mine. I'm not so good that that's going to make a difference. But for a gun on this level and at this price point, it should be a better fit. So does the ported barrel really make a difference? My test with the Mantis X was not as conclusive as I'd hoped it would be. The key number is muzzle rise, which indicates the maximum angle of rise during the shot. Tested against the same type M&P 2.0 metal without a port, it did show a small improvement. I was also able to feel the difference, but it was slight. The faster I shot, the more I was able to notice the benefit of the compensator. And the hotter hollow point ammo seemed to benefit even more than the ball ammo, which is what would be expected. The port in the barrel is smaller than some others I've seen, and it appears to be very focused on sending the gases straight up. This should not only give it good results for muzzle control, but also help minimize fouling. I'm ignoring the recovery time stats on the Mantis X because that has a lot to do with me. And if I hold the muzzle up like I have a tendency to do, especially after my last shot, that skews the measurement. In daylight, I really didn't notice any muzzle flash from the port. You can see in this freeze frame that it's there, but certainly not enough to influence the shooter, at least not in daylight. And if it's not obvious, this is a gun that I really like. Smith Wesson has done a great job with the refreshed design, both aesthetically and mechanically. The trigger just keeps getting better and better. The sights are top quality, and the porting is effective. And the complex slide cuts are both great to look at and very practical for running the gun. In the box from the Performance Center at Smith Wesson are 2 magazines, 4 interchangeable grips, the optics adapters, and a very nice little cleaning kit. MSRP is $999. Look for a follow-up with this gun where I will put an optic on it and maybe do some more comparisons and tests. As of now, my opinion is that this is the best M&P that's ever been made. So far. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You can really support the channel and help me keep content flowing by hitting like and being a subscriber. And I'm on Patreon if you want to support me that way. Look down in the description of this video and you'll see several discount codes and affiliate links. You can save significant money on products that I use and recommend. And if you think this video was especially helpful to you, or you just want to say thanks, there's a button for that right below called YouTube Thanks. This is just an opinion. Thanks for watching.